Disclaimer: the following presentation is intended strictly for educational and informational purposes only. The marketing strategies, financial concepts, and business models discussed do not constitute professional business, legal, financial, or tax advice. Every small business operates under unique market conditions, and the potential outcomes or revenue figures discussed throughout this series are based on historical trends, industry averages, and specific case studies, not guaranteed results. Viewers must conduct their own thorough due diligence and are strongly encouraged to consult with certified legal and financial professionals before implementing any new marketing strategies or data collection practices, especially concerning consumer privacy laws and regulations. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, pouring your coffee, and checking your phone only to find that your business's primary source of new customers has completely vanished. You open your main social media account, the very one you spent 4 agonizing years building to 50,000 followers. The account where you invested thousands of dollars in high-quality video production, influencer partnerships, and late nights engaging with every single comment. Suddenly, a notification pops up stating that your account has been restricted, or worse, permanently disabled due to a vague community guideline violation that you do not even understand. Or perhaps it is not an outright ban, but a severe algorithmic shift. A sudden platform update that instantly throttles your organic reach from reaching 20% of your audience down to less than 0.1%. This is not a dystopian fantasy. This is a harsh, documented reality that unfolds for thousands of small businesses across the United States every single week. The painful truth that expensive digital marketing agencies rarely disclose is that relying exclusively on social media or search engine algorithms to sustain your business means you are building your entire livelihood on rented land. You are merely a digital tenant. You do not own your followers. You do not control the platform's ever-changing rules. You do not control the distribution of your own message. The landlord can change the locks at any moment without warning, leaving your business completely stranded. But there is one digital asset that you do own completely, an asset that is entirely algorithm-proof. A direct, unfiltered line of communication to the exact people who have explicitly asked to hear from you. An asset that consistently delivers a massive return on investment, year after year, decade after decade, regardless of what Silicon Valley tech executives decide to do with their platforms. I am talking about your email marketing list. According to historical trends and extensive industry data, for every single dollar a business spends on email marketing, the average return on investment is $36. Let that staggering number sink in for a moment. While thousands of business owners are desperately chasing the next viral video trend, performing for cameras, or trying to decode unpredictable algorithms to get a fraction of a cent in return, they are completely ignoring a marketing channel that offers a 3,600% historical return. Yet, a massive number of small businesses in the United States continue to treat email marketing like a relic of the early 2000s. They view it as outdated, ineffective, or simply too complicated to set up and manage properly. By the end of this comprehensive masterclass series, you will understand exactly why ignoring your email list is the single most expensive and dangerous mistake you are making in your business right now. To illustrate the profound impact of this shift, consider a documented case study of a brick-and-mortar hardware store located in the American Midwest. 3 years ago, they were bleeding capital on local print advertisements and highly competitive pay-per-click digital ads. Their customer acquisition cost was skyrocketing daily, eroding their profit margins to near zero. They realized they had to pivot or face closure. They stopped focusing entirely on acquiring new, expensive cold traffic and instead focused relentlessly on capturing the contact information of the foot traffic already walking through their doors. They built a localized, highly targeted email list and started sending out weekly newsletters featuring seasonal home maintenance tips, exclusive local discounts, and spotlight stories on their staff. Within 12 months, without spending an additional dime on outside advertising, their repeat customer rate doubled, stabilizing their cash flow and saving the business. During this series, I am going to reveal the exact step-by-step framework that this hardware store, and countless other businesses, have used to transition from the brink of disaster to predictable, stable revenue using nothing but a strategically executed email marketing plan. In this complete guide, tailored specifically for small business owners operating within the United States, we are going to tear down the complex, intimidating facade of email marketing and rebuild it as a straightforward, actionable system. Whether you run a local bakery in Chicago, an online e-commerce boutique based out of Texas, or a specialized B2B consulting firm in New York City, The fundamental problem you face every single day is customer retention and generating predictable sales. You are likely exhausted from the feast or famine cycle of revenue. You are tired of throwing your hard-earned capital into the black hole of paid advertising, crossing your fingers and hoping for a return. The specific problem this guide solves for you today is the transition from those unpredictable revenue spikes to a stable, scalable, and fully owned marketing ecosystem. We will dive deep into the fundamental psychology of the inbox. When a consumer is scrolling through social media feeds, they are in a passive entertainment-seeking state of mind. They are looking to be distracted. However, when a consumer purposefully opens their email inbox, they are in an active, task-oriented state of mind. They are looking to process information, make decisions, and take immediate action. This critical psychological shift is exactly why email traffic converts into paying customers at a significantly higher rate than any other digital source. We will explore how to ethically and effectively capture email addresses without resorting to annoying pop-ups or desperate, spammy tactics. We will comprehensively cover the critical legal landscape, specifically focusing on the CAN-SPAM Act, detailing exactly what you must do to remain compliant under United States federal law. This will protect your business from potentially devastating fines and ensure your carefully crafted emails actually reach the primary inbox rather than being banished to the spam folder. Furthermore, we will address the most common paralyzing fear among small business owners: knowing what to actually write. We will break down proven, psychological copywriting frameworks that you can implement immediately, regardless of your prior writing experience. You will learn how to craft compelling subject lines that demand to be opened, how to structure the body of your email to build deep trust and industry authority, and how to position your calls to action so that your subscribers naturally want to purchase your products or services. Beyond just sending out mass broadcasts, this guide will introduce you to the transformative power of list segmentation and automated workflows. The days of batch and blast marketing are long gone. Today, the key to unlocking that $36 return on investment lies in delivering the right message to the right person at the exact right time. We will explore how to segment your audience based on their unique purchasing history, their geographic location, and their specific interactions with your previous emails. Imagine a scenario where a customer abandons a shopping cart on your website, and precisely 15 minutes later, they automatically receive a personalized email checking in, offering dedicated customer assistance, and providing a small, time-sensitive incentive to complete their purchase. Or consider a fully automated system that sends a special, highly personalized birthday offer to your most loyal local customers, fostering a sense of community and unshakable brand loyalty that major corporate competitors simply cannot replicate with generic, mass-market advertisements. These are the types of sophisticated yet incredibly accessible systems we will build together. We will demystify the technology behind email service providers, helping you cut through the noise to choose the right platform for your specific operational needs without overpaying for bloated enterprise-level features you do not require. This is not about abstract marketing theory. This is about actionable, data-driven strategies designed specifically to turn your dormant email list into your most valuable, reliable business asset. We are going to stop renting space on platforms we do not control, and we are going to start building your financial house on solid owned ground. To do this effectively in the year 2026, we first have to fundamentally change how we view an email address. An email address is not just a random string of data floating in the cloud. It is a highly guarded piece of personal digital currency, and exactly like any real-world financial transaction, a modern consumer is never going to hand over their hard-earned currency without explicitly receiving something of equal or significantly greater value in return. This brings us to the absolute and permanent death of the traditional newsletter sign-up. If you analyze a typical small business website right now, you will almost always find a tiny, uninspiring box buried at the very bottom of the footer that simply says subscribe to our newsletter for updates. In the current hyper-competitive digital landscape where consumers are bombarded with thousands of marketing messages daily, this strategy is entirely useless. Nobody wants more generic updates. Nobody wants more random newsletters cluttering their already overflowing inbox. What your potential customers actually want are immediate, tangible solutions to their very specific problems. Enter the concept of the high-value lead magnet. A lead magnet is a specific, actionable, and instantly accessible resource that you purposefully offer your website visitors entirely for free, in direct exchange for their email address. Imagine if you could stand right outside your physical storefront and hand every single person walking by a free, incredibly useful tool that solves an immediate pain point they are currently facing, and in return, they gladly and willingly write down their direct contact information for you. That is exactly what a well-engineered digital lead magnet accomplishes. To fully grasp the profound financial power of this exchange, let us examine a detailed case study involving a small business owner named Marcus. Marcus runs a specialized outdoor and camping gear shop, based right in Denver, Colorado. For years, his website featured that exact standard, highly ineffective newsletter sign-up box we just discussed. He was capturing perhaps 1 or 2 new email subscribers a month out of thousands of organic website visitors. His list was completely stagnant, his customer acquisition costs were climbing, and his email marketing revenue was virtually non-existent. Then Marcus deeply analyzed his target demographic. He realized his most profitable customers were not simply looking to purchase a sleeping bag. They were desperately trying to plan successful, safe, and memorable weekend camping trips in the unpredictable Rocky Mountains. They were completely overwhelmed by the complex logistics of trip planning. So Marcus pivoted his entire strategy and created a highly specific lead magnet. He engineered a comprehensive, instantly downloadable PDF checklist titled the Ultimate 3-Day Colorado Weekend Camping Gear Checklist. This document included everything from exactly what specific thermal layers to pack for sudden mountain weather shifts to a curated list of the top 10 lesser-known, family-friendly campsites located within a strict 2-hour driving radius of Denver. He completely removed the generic newsletter sign-up from his entire website and replaced it with a highly visible, compelling banner offering this free checklist. The results were immediate and completely transformed his business trajectory. His website conversion rate jumped from 0.1% to over 4% almost overnight. He went from capturing 1 single subscriber a month to consistently acquiring 15 to 20 highly targeted, ideal potential customers every single day. Why did this specific strategy work so incredibly well? Because Marcus stopped asking for a favor and started offering undeniable, highly contextual value. He solved a specific problem for his specific audience before ever asking them to buy a product. When you are designing your own lead magnet to achieve similar potential outcomes, you must strictly adhere to 3 critical foundational principles. First, the resource must be hyper-specific. Broad, generalized topics fail completely because they do not trigger any sense of immediate urgency. If you run a local tax preparation service, a guide on general tax tips will not convert well at all. However, a detailed checklist outlining the 5 specific tax deductions most local freelance graphic designers completely miss will convert extraordinarily well, if that is your target demographic. Second, your lead magnet must offer immediate, frictionless gratification. The exact moment the visitor enters their email address, the promised resource must be instantly delivered to their inbox or browser. Do not make them wait for manual approval. Third, it must actually solve a small piece of the larger problem that your business ultimately solves for paying clients. You want the consumer to consume your free resource, experience a highly satisfying quick win, and immediately think to themselves that if this is what your business gives away completely for free, your paid products or services must be absolutely phenomenal. Once you have meticulously created this irresistible lead magnet, the next crucial step is strategic deployment and placement across your digital real estate. Having a magnificent resource is completely worthless if no one ever sees it. You must implement multiple strategically timed opt-in mechanisms. The first and most important is the feature box, placed prominently above the fold on your website homepage. This industry term means the visitor should not have to scroll down even a fraction of an inch to see your primary offer. The headline above the email input box must clearly and aggressively state the massive benefit they will receive. The second highly effective mechanism is the exit intent pop-up. Many small business owners despise pop-ups, viewing them as strictly intrusive and annoying. However, historical trends and extensive conversion rate data continuously prove that exit intent technology works incredibly well when executed respectfully and contextually. These sophisticated pop-ups track the user mouse movements on desktop computers and only appear at the exact millisecond the visitor moves their cursor toward the back button or the browser tab to permanently leave your site. It is your absolute final opportunity to capture their attention before they vanish forever. If your lead magnet offer is genuinely valuable and highly relevant to the page they were just reading, the pop-up shifts instantly from being a nuisance to being a highly helpful, last-minute intervention. Furthermore, you must relentlessly eliminate every single piece of friction in the actual sign-up process. Every single additional form field you ask a website visitor to fill out will drastically and measurably reduce your overall conversion rate. Industry data shows that adding just a mandatory phone number field can plummet conversion rates by over 40%. If you only genuinely need their email address to deliver the digital product, then only ask for their email address. Do not ask for their last name, their mailing address, or their company name unless it is absolutely critical for your initial sales process. You can always gather that supplementary data later down the line once you have clearly established trust and initiated the ongoing relationship. In the current year, consumer attention spans are remarkably short, and personal privacy concerns are at an all-time high. Asking for entirely too much information up front is the absolute fastest way to kill your list growth. You need to make the barrier to entry as incredibly low and seamless as humanly possible. Now that you have optimized your digital presence to capture these leads like a finely tuned machine, you are going to start seeing a highly consistent, steady stream of brand new subscribers entering your email ecosystem every single day. This is a massive operational milestone for your business. But capturing the email address is only the very first step in the entire revenue generation process. The exact moment that new subscriber hits the submit button, a critical, high-stakes window of psychological opportunity opens. The very first communication they receive from you will entirely dictate whether they become a lifelong, highly profitable paying customer, or if they instantly drag your message straight into the digital trash bin and unsubscribe forever. Most small businesses completely botch this crucial first impression, sending a dry, boring corporate auto-reply that completely destroys any positive momentum built by the lead magnet. There is a highly precise, scientifically backed sequence of specific emails you must deploy the exact second they subscribe to build massive trust and establish unshakable industry authority, before you ever dare ask them for a single dollar. But what exactly goes into that initial sequence to ensure they actually open it and read every single word? That is exactly what we are going to unpack and build step by step in the next segment. The exact second a potential customer hands over their email address, a psychological timer begins ticking. This is the moment of highest intent. According to historical trends and data gathered across major email service providers entering 2026, the very first email you send to a new subscriber, commonly referred to as the welcome email, boasts an average open rate hovering around 82%. Compare that to a standard promotional broadcast which might struggle to hit 20%. This massive disparity means your welcome sequence is the most critical piece of real estate in your entire digital marketing strategy. It is not merely a polite greeting. It is a meticulously engineered bridge that transitions a skeptical stranger into a trusting, educated prospective buyer. If you squander this 82% open rate on a generic message that simply says thanks for subscribing, you are actively burning potential revenue. Instead, you must deploy a strategic welcome sequence, which is an automated series of 3 to 5 emails sent over the first few days of a subscriber joining your list. Let us break down exactly how to architect this sequence, starting with email number 1, which we call the instant delivery and expectation setter. This email must arrive within 60 seconds of them submitting their information. The primary objective here is to deliver the promised lead magnet immediately, removing all friction. But the secondary, equally vital objective is to set the rules of engagement. You must clearly explain exactly what they can expect from you moving forward. Tell them how often you will be emailing them, whether it is every Tuesday with industry insights or twice a week with exclusive inventory updates. By explicitly stating this schedule, you are subconsciously asking for their permission to occupy space in their inbox, which drastically reduces future unsubscribe rates. Imagine if a stranger walked into your home and just stood in your living room without introducing themselves or explaining why they were there. You would kick them out immediately. Your inbox is a digital living room. You must introduce yourself, hand them a gift, and clearly state your intentions. You also use this first email to ask them to whitelist your address or drag your email from the promotions tab to the primary inbox, a critical step for long-term deliverability. Moving to day 2, we deploy email number 2, which is the origin story and empathy builder. This is where most United States small businesses completely fail because they hide behind sterile corporate language. People do not connect with faceless logos, they connect with other human beings. In this email, you are going to share the story of why you started your business. You must articulate the specific frustrations and pain points you witnessed in the market that forced you to create your product or service. To illustrate the power of this, consider a case study of a woman named Jessica, who runs a specialized gluten-free bakery in Austin, Texas. In early 2026, Jessica was struggling to convert local website visitors into foot traffic. Her initial welcome sequence was just a digital coupon. She completely overhauled her strategy and introduced an origin story email. She wrote a highly personal message detailing her own decade-long, agonizing struggle with celiac disease, the countless times she felt completely alienated at birthday parties because she could not eat the cake, and the massive frustration of finding only dry, cardboard-tasting gluten-free options in standard grocery stores. She explained that she spent 3 years perfecting her flour blend simply so no child in her community would ever have to feel left out at a celebration again. The potential outcomes of this single email were staggering. Readers who shared her dietary restrictions felt an immediate, profound emotional connection. They were no longer just buying a muffin. They were supporting a fellow community member who deeply understood their daily struggle. Her email reply rate skyrocketed, and her conversion rate from subscriber to first-time buyer tripled within 2 months. This is the raw power of building empathy. On day 3, your automated system sends email number 3, the paradigm shift. By now, your subscriber has consumed your free lead magnet and connected with your origin story. Now, you must challenge a common misconception they hold about your industry. You want to provide a massive value bomb that completely shifts their perspective. If you are a local financial planner, this is the email where you explain why the traditional advice of just saving 10% of your income in a standard savings account is mathematically failing them in the current economic climate, and you introduce a smarter, alternative framework. You are not aggressively selling your services yet. You are systematically proving your unparalleled expertise. You are establishing yourself as the undeniable authority in your specific niche. You want the reader to finish this email and think to themselves that they have learned more from your free automated sequence than they did from the last professional they actually paid. Finally, on day 4 or 5, you introduce email number 4, the soft pitch and logical transition. You have delivered the promised value, you have built a human connection, and you have demonstrated elite industry knowledge. You have earned the right to make an offer. This email seamlessly transitions from the educational content of the previous days into a logical invitation to take the next step. You frame your core product or service not as a transaction, but as the ultimate, accelerated solution to the exact problem you have been discussing. If they love the free camping checklist you provided on day 1, the logical transition is to invite them to visit your Denver store to get professionally fitted for the exact boots mentioned in that checklist, perhaps offering a private, one-on-one consultation. You present the offer clearly, without hype, focusing entirely on the tangible benefits they will receive. Historical trends indicate that subscribers who complete a structured, multi-day welcome sequence like this exhibit significantly higher lifetime customer value compared to those who are simply thrown into a general promotional broadcast list. You have now successfully captured a highly targeted lead, nurtured them through a psychologically optimized welcome sequence, and presented your very first offer. Some of them will purchase immediately, providing an instant return on your marketing efforts. But the reality of consumer behavior dictates that a large percentage of these new subscribers will not buy right away. They might not have the budget this week, or the timing might just be slightly off. So what exactly happens to these people now? If you just abandon them, or worse, if you start bombarding them with identical aggressive sales pitches every single day, they will hit the spam button so fast it will permanently damage your sender reputation. You need a long-term strategy to keep this massive, growing list engaged, educated, and ready to buy weeks, months, or even years down the line, without you having to spend 40 hours a week writing emails. How do you automate this long-term relationship building, while ensuring every message feels incredibly personal and relevant? That is exactly what we are going to architect in the next phase. The transition from the initial automated welcome sequence to your long-term nurture ecosystem is exactly where the vast majority of small businesses completely drop the ball and bleed potential revenue. They spend immense amounts of time, energy, and capital engineering the perfect lead magnet to capture the contact information. They meticulously set up a highly engaging 4-day welcome sequence, and then they completely vanish for 3 entire months until they suddenly realize they need to run a holiday sale or push a new product launch. This feast or famine communication style is exactly what trains your subscribers to either actively ignore your messages or, even worse, manually drag your brand into the dreaded spam folder. In the highly saturated digital landscape of the year 2026, the consumer inbox is more fiercely guarded than ever before in human history. Attention is the single most valuable and scarce commodity on the internet today. To capture and maintain that attention over the long haul, week after week and year after year, We have to fundamentally eliminate the massively outdated and financially destructive concept of the mass broadcast blast. Sending the exact same generic promotional message to your entire email list regardless of their individual preferences is a relic of a bygone digital era, and historical trends continuously demonstrate that this lazy approach leads directly to plummeting open rates, massive unsubscribe spikes, and severely damaged domain sender reputations. To deeply understand how to execute this long-term strategy correctly, let us analyze a detailed case study of a business owner named David, who operates a highly successful, specialized landscaping and custom hardscaping company based in Columbus, Ohio. Before implementing a sophisticated nurture ecosystem, David was making the classic mass broadcast mistake that cripples so many service-based businesses. He had diligently built an email list of roughly 8,000 local homeowners over a span of 5 years. Every single Friday morning without fail, he would send a completely generic, image-heavy email offering a 10% discount on basic lawn mowing and weed trimming services to every single person sitting on that database. The fatal flaw in his strategy was that a highly significant portion of his list consisted of premium, high-net-worth clients who had just recently paid his company upward of $40,000 to install luxury backyard fire pits, custom outdoor kitchens, and intricate stone retaining walls. These high-ticket clients did not want, nor did they need, a generic $10 discount on basic lawn mowing. By constantly bombarding them with entirely irrelevant, low-tier offers, David was actively training his most valuable, wealthy customers to completely ignore his brand. Because his emails provided absolutely zero value to their specific current situation, his open rates plummeted from a healthy 32% down to a dismal and highly alarming 4%. He had effectively made his business completely invisible to the exact demographic most likely to hire him for another highly profitable luxury project. The permanent solution to David abandoning this massive revenue leak was the immediate implementation of behavioral tagging and dynamic list segmentation. This specific strategy is exactly how you automate long-term, scalable relationship building, while simultaneously making every single automated email feel like a highly personal, one-on-one conversation. Modern enterprise-grade email service providers, which are now highly accessible to everyday small businesses, allow you to automatically assign invisible digital tags to your individual subscribers based entirely on their specific, real-time actions. If a subscriber on David's list clicked a link in a monthly educational email to read a blog post specifically about winterizing luxury outdoor water features, the automated system instantly and silently applied a hidden tag labeled "Interested in Luxury Hardscaping Maintenance." If another entirely different subscriber clicked a link in that same email about organic, pet-safe weed control, they automatically received a tag labeled "Interested in Organic Lawn Care." This behavioral tracking completely revolutionized his entire business model and stabilization of cash flow. Instead of sending one generic, highly ineffective email to 8,000 unsegmented people, David began sending highly targeted, deeply relevant micro-campaigns to specific groups of proven buyers. Imagine if you were one of David's premium custom hardscaping clients sitting in your living room in mid-October. Instead of receiving a highly annoying, completely irrelevant coupon for a lawn mowing service you do not need, you suddenly receive an automated, highly personalized plain-text email specifically detailing the exact 3 scientific steps you must take to protect your custom poured stone patio from the harsh, destructive Ohio winter freezing and thawing cycle. The email provides massive, actionable, and highly specific value up front without asking for a single dime or pushing a hard sale. But at the very bottom of that deeply helpful email, there is a soft, completely logical, and highly contextual transition. David simply states that if you do not have the time or the proper commercial sealants to perform this crucial winterization process yourself, his premium maintenance team has exactly 3 openings left on their schedule for the month of November, and he naturally includes a direct link to instantly book a service call. The potential outcomes of this hyper-targeted, deeply empathetic approach are absolutely staggering. By simply sending the right educational message to the right specific person at the exact right psychological time, David saw a 400% measurable increase in repeat, high-ticket business from his existing client base in a single quarter, all without spending a single additional dollar on external social media advertising or local search engine optimization. This brings us to the absolute golden rule of maintaining a highly profitable long-term nurture ecosystem, which is the strict adherence to the 80-20 value-to-pitch ratio. If every single email you send to your audience is a direct, aggressive demand for their hard-earned money, your audience will aggressively tune you out, and your deliverability will completely collapse. You must begin treating your email list exactly like a premium digital magazine where you act as the expert editor-in-chief. 80% of your total communication must be purely dedicated to educating, entertaining, and deeply empowering your subscribers without any expectation of an immediate financial return. You must freely share closely guarded industry secrets. You must logically break down and destroy common market misconceptions. You must highlight incredible, relatable customer success stories. And you must consistently provide actionable, step-by-step frameworks that your readers can use to improve their lives or businesses immediately. You are constantly and relentlessly making massive deposits into their emotional bank account. Then, and only then, do you earn the absolute right to use the remaining 20% of your emails to make a highly targeted, perfectly timed withdrawal by presenting a relevant, irresistible offer. This is the exact proven methodology for building a bulletproof list of raving, highly loyal fans who actually look forward to seeing your brand name pop up on their mobile screens. But simply writing and sending these highly valuable, deeply segmented emails is only half of the complex digital equation. As your email list inevitably grows from 100 early subscribers to 1,000, and eventually scales to 10,000 or more active readers, a silent, deeply technical, and potentially business-destroying threat begins to emerge in the background. You could literally be writing the most brilliant, highest converting, and most valuable emails in the entire history of your specific industry, but if the massive global email inbox providers silently decide behind closed doors that your sending domain looks even slightly suspicious, they will completely bypass the primary inbox. They will ruthlessly and automatically route your masterfully crafted, highly lucrative messages directly into the dark abyss of the spam folder, where they will absolutely never be seen by human eyes. In the year 2026, the strict artificial intelligence-driven algorithmic filters governing global email deliverability have become incredibly ruthless and complex. There are highly specific, hidden technical metrics and back-end domain authentications that these tech giants are constantly monitoring every single millisecond you hit the send button. If you do not know exactly what these specific metrics are, you are essentially flying a commercial airliner completely blind right into a Category 5 hurricane. So, what are the exact technical configurations you must legally and functionally have in place to ensure your emails actually reach your audience? And how do you run a highly technical forensic audit on your own domain right now to ensure you are not already completely shadow banned without even knowing it? That critical, highly technical survival infrastructure is exactly what we are going to expose and rebuild from the ground up in the next chapter. Welcome to the invisible digital war zone of the year 2026. Major inbox providers like Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft have completely rewritten the fundamental rules of email deliverability, deploying incredibly aggressive, artificial intelligence-driven algorithmic filters to protect their users from spam and phishing attacks. These multi-billion-dollar tech giants absolutely do not care how beautiful your email template looks, how perfectly crafted your promotional copy is, or how much money you spent acquiring your subscriber list. They only care about one single thing, which is mathematical cryptographic proof of your digital identity. If your sending domain cannot definitively and technically prove exactly who you are, your emails are instantly categorized as malicious or spam, and you are permanently banished to the junk folder without any warning or notification. You could be sitting there right now, staring at declining open rates, assuming your audience simply does not like your content anymore, when in reality they are never even receiving your messages. To permanently secure your placement in the primary inbox, you must establish what the industry refers to as the holy trinity of email authentication. These are 3 specific technical protocols that you must physically configure within your domain name registrar, whether you use GoDaddy, Namecheap, or Google Domains. The first protocol is Sender Policy Framework, commonly known as SPF. You can think of SPF as the official digital guest list for your business domain. When you send an email through a third-party software provider, you are essentially letting another company send mail on your behalf. An SPF record is a hidden text file placed on your domain that publicly announces to the entire internet exactly which software platforms are legally authorized to send emails using your business name. If an email arrives at a consumer inbox claiming to be from your company, but the sending software is not explicitly listed on your SPF guest list, the algorithmic bouncer at the door will immediately reject the message. The second mandatory protocol is Domain Keys Identified Mail, or DKIM. If SPF is the guest list, DKIM is the cryptographic wax seal on the back of the envelope. When you configure DKIM, your email service provider automatically attaches a hidden, heavily encrypted digital signature to every single email you send. The receiving inbox provider then intercepts that email, reads the encrypted signature, and mathematically verifies that the contents of the email were not intercepted, altered, or tampered with while traveling across the internet. It proves the integrity of your message. Finally, the third and most critical protocol is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance, universally known as DMARC. In the current landscape of 2026, lacking a strict DMARC policy is absolute commercial suicide. DMARC acts as the ultimate law enforcement policy for your domain. It ties SPF and DKIM together and provides explicit instructions to the receiving inbox on exactly what to do if an email fails those first two security checks. By setting up DMARC, you are telling Google and Yahoo to ruthlessly reject any email pretending to be from you that does not pass strict authentication, which protects your brand reputation and signals to the algorithms that you are a highly secure premium sender. To illustrate the catastrophic financial impact of ignoring this technical infrastructure, consider a documented case study of a small business owner named Michael, who runs a highly specialized vintage acoustic guitar dealership in Nashville, Tennessee. In early 2026, Michael prepared for his massive annual spring catalog release, a single promotional event that historically generated over 40% of his total yearly revenue. He spent $10,000 on highly targeted digital advertisements to acquire thousands of new, passionate musicians for his email list. He spent 3 entire weeks photographing his rare inventory and crafting the perfect email sequence. On launch morning, he confidently hit send to a list of 25,000 eager subscribers. 12 hours later, his total sales were exactly 0. He was completely devastated and confused. A forensic technical audit of his domain revealed the fatal flaw. Michael had never configured his DMARC records. Because the major inbox providers had recently enacted incredibly strict enforcement policies for commercial senders, his entire campaign was silently swallowed by global spam filters. 25,000 emails were sent, and virtually 0 landed in a primary inbox. He had unknowingly been shadow banned. Once Michael hired a technician to properly configure his SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records, his domain reputation slowly recovered, and his subsequent summer campaign generated record-breaking sales. Fixing your authentication records is only the first half of the deliverability equation. The second half requires a ruthless, highly disciplined approach to list hygiene. Many small business owners in the United States suffer from a massive psychological hurdle when it comes to their email list size. They view their subscriber count as a vanity metric, believing that a list of 50,000 people is inherently better than a list of 5,000 people. This is a massive, highly destructive misconception. Having thousands of inactive, unengaged people sitting on your email list is actively destroying your business. When you consistently send emails to people who never open them, you are sending a massive, glaring signal to the artificial intelligence algorithms that your content is low quality and unwanted. The algorithms will eventually decide that if 20,000 people on your list are ignoring you, then the other 5,000 who actually want your emails probably should not see them either, and your overall deliverability will plummet across the entire board. To combat this, you must implement an automated sunset policy. A sunset policy is a sophisticated, behavioral-based workflow designed to identify and systematically remove dead weight from your database. The process operates strictly on engagement data. If a specific subscriber has not opened a single email or clicked a single link in the last 90 days, your system should automatically pause their regular promotional broadcasts. They are then dynamically shifted into a dedicated re-engagement sequence. This is a highly targeted 3-part email series designed to win back their attention. The first email might offer a massive one-time-only discount. The second email might ask them directly for feedback on what type of content they actually want to see. The third and final email is the absolute ultimatum, clearly stating that if they do not click a link to confirm they still want to receive updates, they will be permanently deleted from the database in 24 hours. If they do not respond to that final warning, you must ruthlessly and permanently delete them from your system. You are not losing a potential customer. You are shedding dead digital weight that is dragging down your entire marketing ecosystem. By aggressively pruning your list, your total subscriber count will decrease, but your open rates, your click-through rates, and your overall domain reputation will skyrocket. The algorithms will see that 50% of your refined list is actively engaging with every message, and they will start granting you premium VIP placement directly at the absolute top of the primary inbox. You have now built a rock-solid, technically bulletproof foundation. You have the proper cryptographic authentication to bypass the algorithmic bouncers, and you have a pristine, highly hygienic list of active subscribers. Your messages are finally guaranteed to land squarely in front of your potential customers. However, successfully landing in the inbox and actually convincing a highly distracted consumer to stop scrolling, pay attention, and click open your message are two entirely different psychological battles. In the current year, the average consumer is absolutely inundated with hundreds of competing marketing messages every single day. How do you ethically force their eyes to instantly lock onto your specific email over the massive, multinational corporations with bottomless marketing budgets? The undeniable secret to commanding immediate attention and dominating the inbox lies in a highly specific, deeply psychological copywriting framework that almost no one is talking about. We are going to completely deconstruct this framework and write your most profitable campaign ever in the next segment. You are staring at the ultimate digital battlefield. The modern consumer inbox in the year 2026 is an absolute war zone of attention. The average American professional receives over 140 emails every single day. When your small business sends a promotional message or an educational newsletter, you are not just competing against other local bakeries, independent consulting firms, or hardware stores. You are competing directly against multi-billion-dollar retailers, aggressive streaming service notifications, and urgent messages from their own family members. The barrier to entry for their undivided attention has never been higher in the history of digital marketing. The single most brilliant piece of marketing copy ever written by a human being is entirely worthless if the email itself is never actually opened. This unavoidable reality makes the subject line the undisputed gatekeeper of your entire email marketing ecosystem. Most small business owners treat the subject line as a complete afterthought, hastily typing out something generic like April newsletter or spring sale update right before hitting the final send button. This is a massive, revenue-destroying mistake that instantly dooms your campaign to the digital trash bin. Historical trends continuously demonstrate that over 47% of email recipients decide whether to open a specific email based exclusively on the subject line alone. To completely master this psychological gatekeeper, you must deeply understand the delicate, highly scientific balance between curiosity and clarity. If a subject line is too clear and descriptive, there is absolutely no reason for the recipient to open the email because the reader already knows the entire punchline. If your subject line simply says 10% off all accounting consulting services today, the reader mentally processes the exact offer in a fraction of a second, decides they do not want to spend money right this exact second, and immediately scrolls past to the next message. Conversely, if a subject line relies entirely on cheap, clickbait curiosity, such as "you will never believe what just happened to me," it might artificially inflate your initial open rate for one single isolated campaign. But the exact moment the reader opens that email and realizes the internal content does not magically match the hyped-up expectation, you have permanently destroyed their inherent trust. They will instantly hit the unsubscribe button or, even worse, aggressively flag your domain as spam. Let us look at a highly specific case study to thoroughly illustrate the perfect psychological balance required for massive success. Meet Sarah, who owns an independent, highly specialized boutique fitness studio down in Miami, Florida. Entering the current year of 2026, Sarah was struggling immensely with terrible declining email open rates that were painfully hovering around 8%. Her standard subject line approach was usually something highly predictable and completely boring, such as "new summer class schedule available now." It was factually clear, but it possessed absolutely zero curiosity or psychological urgency. We completely overhauled her entire communication strategy using the curiosity gap framework. Instead of giving away the entire announcement immediately, she started utilizing subject lines like "the real reason your morning workouts are failing." This highly specific subject line creates an immediate psychological itch in the human brain that absolutely must be scratched. It addresses a very specific, deeply painful point for her exact target demographic, which consists of working professionals struggling to see actual fitness results, and it promises a definitive, expert answer hidden inside the email body. The potential outcomes of this single strategic pivot were phenomenal. Sarah saw her open rates triple to 24% almost overnight, directly resulting in completely booked morning classes for the entire summer quarter. But the subject line is only half of the initial psychological equation. Right next to or directly below the subject line on every modern mobile device is the preview text, also commonly known in the industry as the pre-header. In the current digital landscape, over 60% of all marketing emails are initially opened on a vertical mobile screen. The preview text gives you an additional 30 to 80 characters of highly valuable, prime digital real estate to completely support and elevate your subject line. Most small businesses completely ignore this crucial technical feature, lazily allowing their email service provider to automatically pull the first line of text from the top of the email body. This almost always ends up being something highly embarrassing and unprofessional, like "click here." If this email is not displaying correctly in your browser, you must actively treat the preview text as the secondary psychological hook. If the subject line is the curiosity builder, the preview text is the logical justification to click. For Sarah, the Miami gym owner, her primary subject line was the real reason your morning workouts are failing. Her manually configured, highly intentional preview text was hint it has absolutely nothing to do with your daily diet. Together, these two strategic elements create an irresistible psychological one-two punch that literally forces the recipient to stop scrolling, break their standard pattern of behavior, and open the message. Once the email is finally opened, you have roughly 3 seconds to justify the interruption before they abandon the page. This is exactly where we deploy the hook, story, offer copywriting framework. You must absolutely abandon the stiff, overly professional corporate tone that completely plagues small business marketing across the United States. Imagine if you walked into a local coffee shop to meet a close friend, and they immediately started speaking to you exactly like a highly sanitized legal document. You would be incredibly confused, instantly alienated, and you would likely leave. Your emails must read exactly like a one-on-one, highly empathetic conversation written from one human being directly to another human being. You start with the immediate hook, which must be a direct continuation of the subject line premise to validate their decision to open the message. You instantly address their specific pain point in the very first sentence. Next comes the story component. Human beings are biologically hardwired to process complex information through narrative structure. Instead of just lazily listing out dry bullet points detailing why your local service is great, you meticulously wrap your educational lesson in a highly relatable, engaging story. If you are a local tax accountant, you do not just send a massive list of upcoming federal tax deadlines. You tell a brief, entirely anonymized story about a specific local client who almost lost thousands of dollars because of one incredibly simple, easily overlooked filing mistake, and exactly how you aggressively stepped in to fix it for them. This elegantly demonstrates your absolute authority and elite competence without ever feeling like a pushy, desperate sales pitch. Finally, you seamlessly transition into the offer. The offer is not always a direct, aggressive plea for immediate financial transaction. An offer can simply be a request to read your latest educational blog post, a prompt to reply directly to the email with their biggest current business struggle, or a low-friction invitation to easily book a free 15-minute consultation call. The absolute critical rule of this framework is that every single email must have one, and only one singular clear call to action. When you recklessly include 5 different links asking the reader to follow you on social media, read your new blog, buy your expensive product, and forward the email to a friend, you instantly trigger a well-documented psychological phenomenon known as choice paralysis. Faced with entirely too many overwhelming options, the human brain simply chooses to take absolutely no action at all to avoid cognitive load. You must purposefully funnel all of their valuable attention toward one single, highly focused next step. You have now successfully captured massive attention, engineered a phenomenal curiosity-driven subject line, and crafted an engaging story-driven email body that naturally leads your reader exactly to a single, highly profitable call to action. You are generating consistent clicks, and you are starting to visibly see the true financial power of a deeply engaged, loyal audience. But as your small business inevitably scales and your active list grows from a few hundred early adopters to several thousand demanding subscribers, manually writing and scheduling these deeply personal, highly segmented emails every single day becomes an absolute logistical nightmare. You simply cannot afford to spend 40 hours a week completely trapped inside your email software dashboard. You desperately need a way to seamlessly replicate your exact brand voice, your absolute best stories, and your most profitable offers on complete autopilot, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You need to meticulously build a highly intelligent machine that dynamically sells for you while you are sleeping, while you are serving high-ticket clients, or while you are simply spending time with your family. The ultimate secret to unlocking this massive, unprecedented business scale lies in advanced behavioral automation sequences. But how exactly do you technically set up these invisible digital tripwires without needing an advanced college degree in computer science or hiring an outrageously expensive agency? That is the exact step-by-step technical blueprint we are going to unfold and build together in the next masterclass segment. Welcome to the mechanics of invisible selling. In the current digital ecosystem of 2026, relying on manual email broadcasting, is the equivalent of trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. You are operating at a massive disadvantage against competitors who have deployed sophisticated behavioral automation. Behavioral automation is not merely setting up a basic calendar schedule to send a message every Tuesday. It is a highly dynamic reactive system that triggers highly specific email sequences based entirely on the unique, real-time actions that an individual subscriber takes or fails to take on your website and inside your previous emails. It is artificial intelligence working in the background to deliver the exact right message to the exact right person at the exact moment of their highest psychological intent. Let us begin with the absolute lowest hanging fruit in the entire digital marketing landscape, which is the cart abandonment sequence. Historical trends consistently show that across all digital commerce in the United States, nearly 70% of all online shopping carts are completely abandoned before the final checkout is completed. This is a staggering amount of potential revenue left sitting on the table. Imagine if you owned a physical retail store and 7 out of 10 customers walked up to the cash register, placed their items on the counter, and then suddenly turned around and walked out the front door without saying a word. You would not just let them leave. You would immediately ask them if they needed help, if they had a question about the price, or if there was a problem with the product. A cart abandonment sequence is your digital store manager chasing down that highly interested customer. Consider the case study of Kevin, who runs a highly specialized, premium ergonomic office furniture business based in Chicago, Illinois. Going into the year 2026, Kevin was generating massive amounts of website traffic through highly targeted search engine optimization. People were constantly adding his $2,000 standing desks to their digital carts, but his actual conversion rate was abysmal. He was bleeding capital on customer acquisition because he had absolutely no safety net in place to catch the people who hesitated at the very last second. We helped Kevin implement a highly strategic 3-part cart abandonment automation. The exact structure of this sequence is critical. The very first email triggers exactly 1 hour after the user abandons the cart. This is not a pushy sales pitch. It is purely a customer service outreach. The subject line simply asks if they experienced a technical glitch. The body of the email adopts a highly helpful, empathetic tone, assuming that perhaps their internet connection dropped, or they simply got distracted by a phone call. It provides a massive, highly visible link to instantly restore their exact cart. Just this single non-aggressive email alone recovered over 8% of Kevin lost sales because it capitalized on immediate, residual purchasing intent. If the customer does not purchase after the first email, the system waits exactly 24 hours and automatically triggers email number 2. This is the objection handling and social proof email. We know they want the desk because they added it to the cart, but something specific is holding them back. It is usually a fear regarding quality, shipping times, or the return policy. In this email, Kevin proactively addresses all 3 of these silent objections. He explicitly details the lifetime warranty, the free shipping parameters, and most importantly, he includes 3 highly emotional, transformative reviews from past customers who specifically mention how the desk completely eliminated their chronic back pain. By systematically destroying their logical objections with overwhelming social proof, this second email pushes the prospect back into a buying state of mind. If they still have not purchased after 48 hours, the system deploys the final, ultimate sequence email. This is the logical incentive and scarcity trigger. Kevin introduces a time-sensitive, strictly limited bonus. He does not devalue his premium product by offering a massive discount. Instead, he offers to include a highly valuable anti-fatigue mat completely for free if they complete their desk purchase within the next 12 hours. The addition of this hard deadline forces the consumer to make a final decision, effectively utilizing the psychological fear of missing out. The potential outcomes for Kevin were completely transformative. This fully automated 3-part system consistently recovered 18% of his totally abandoned carts every single month, adding tens of thousands of dollars to his bottom line without requiring him to write a single additional word or spend another dime on advertising. But automation extends far beyond simply recovering lost sales. The second most critical, yet completely ignored automation in the United States small business sector is the post-purchase nurture sequence. The exact moment a customer finally hands over their credit card information is not the end of the marketing journey. It is the absolute beginning of the retention journey. Most businesses send a generic digital receipt and then go completely silent until they want to sell something else. This creates massive buyer remorse. When a consumer makes a significant purchase, their brain instantly floods with anxiety, wondering if they made the right choice. Your post-purchase sequence must instantly validate their decision and eliminate that anxiety. Meet Amanda, who operates a highly successful business-to-business software consulting firm in Seattle, Washington. In 2026, Amanda was incredibly frustrated because she would close massive, $10,000 corporate training contracts, but her clients would constantly cancel their ongoing retainer agreements after just 2 months. They simply did not feel supported after the initial sale. Amanda implemented a meticulously crafted post-purchase onboarding sequence. The very day the contract was signed, the client automatically received a welcome email containing a highly detailed, step-by-step video explaining exactly what would happen over the next 30 days. 3 days later, the system automatically sent a resource guide to help the client prepare for their first official strategy session. A week later, it sent a case study showing the incredible long-term results of another similar client. This automated onboarding sequence completely changed the entire trajectory of Amanda's entire business. Her clients felt deeply supported, incredibly informed, and highly valued from day one. Her long-term retainer retention rate skyrocketed by over 60%. She created a completely automated system that turned anxious, one-time buyers into fierce, lifelong brand advocates. You can engineer these exact same sequences for event registrations, digital course completions, or even scheduling routine service appointments. The ultimate goal is to map out every single significant touchpoint in your customer journey and build an automated safety net to ensure no one ever slips through the cracks. You now possess the foundational knowledge to build high-converting lead magnets, write deeply psychological emails, ensure maximum deliverability, and automate your most critical sales and retention processes. You have built a highly sophisticated, money-making machine. But what happens when things inevitably go wrong? What happens when your list begins to naturally decay over time, your open rates slowly start to slip, and you realize you have thousands of completely unresponsive email addresses clogging up your expensive database? If you ignore this silent rot, it will eventually trigger catastrophic spam traps that will completely blacklist your domain across the entire internet. How do you safely and aggressively wake up a totally dead email list and force them to re-engage before it is completely too late? That high-stakes emergency reactivation protocol is exactly what we are going to deploy in the next phase. Every single email list in the entire world, regardless of how brilliantly it is managed, naturally decays over time. Historical trends indicate that an average business database degrades by roughly 20 to 30% every single year. People change jobs, they abandon old email addresses, or their personal interests simply shift away from your specific industry. This is not a reflection of your marketing skills. It is simply human nature. But if you blindly ignore this natural decay and continue blasting your promotional messages to thousands of completely dead inboxes, you are actively triggering the absolute worst-case scenario in digital marketing. You are marching directly into a spam trap. Spam traps are massive, invisible tripwires set up by major internet service providers in the year 2026. They take abandoned email addresses, turn them into silent monitoring stations, and watch closely to see which companies are still blindly sending messages to them without checking for engagement. If you hit even a single one of these traps, the internet service providers instantly label your business as a negligent, malicious spammer. They will permanently blacklist your sending domain, meaning your emails will immediately bounce back or be violently shoved into the junk folder for your entire audience, including your most loyal, paying customers. Your entire revenue engine grinds to a complete and devastating halt. To fully understand the gravity of this situation and how to safely reverse it, we need to examine the case study of Robert, who owns a highly respected, independent auto repair and custom detailing garage in Atlanta, Georgia. Over 12 years, Robert proudly collected over 20,000 customer email addresses. He viewed this massive number as a badge of absolute honor. But by early 2026, his digital marketing was completely failing. He was sending out highly valuable maintenance coupons and seasonal tire replacement guides. Yet his open rates had absolutely flatlined at a horrific 2%. He was paying his email software provider hundreds of dollars a month to store thousands of contacts who had not opened a single message since the year 2022. Robert was unknowingly sitting on a massive digital landmine, and his domain reputation was rapidly tanking. We immediately intervened and deployed the emergency reactivation protocol. This is not a gentle, passive strategy. This is a highly aggressive, deeply psychological 4-step intervention designed to artificially shock a dormant list back to life, or permanently cut the dead weight. Step 1 is radical segmentation. You must go into your software dashboard and mathematically isolate every single subscriber who has not opened an email, clicked a link, or purchased a product in the last 120 days. For Robert, this meant completely separating 14,000 dead contacts from his 6,000 active readers. You completely stop sending your regular newsletters to this dead segment. They are now quarantined. Step 2 is the deployment of the short, text-only curiosity check. When a subscriber has been completely ignoring your beautiful, heavily designed corporate emails for 4 months, sending them another graphic-heavy newsletter is absolute insanity. You have to radically break their visual pattern. Robert sent a completely plain text email to his 14,000 dormant subscribers.
No logos, no colorful botões, no hidden tracking pixels.
The subject line was simply a lowercase question asking if they were still driving the same vehicle. The body of the email was only 2 sentences. It politely acknowledged that it had been a long time since they last spoke, and it asked a direct, highly relevant question about their current auto maintenance needs. This strips away the corporate marketing facade and feels exactly like a personal message from a concerned friend. This single, jarring pattern interrupt shocked over 800 of Robert Dormant's subscribers into opening the email and replying directly, instantly saving them from the deletion block and moving them back to the active list. For the people who ignore Step 2, you immediately move to Step 3, which is the massive, irresistible value bomb. You have to make them an offer that is so incredibly generous, they would feel foolish to ignore it. 48 hours after the text-only email, Robert sent a second message offering a completely free, comprehensive diagnostic inspection and a premium synthetic oil change, requiring absolutely zero purchase, exclusively for the people reading that specific email. This was a heavy, calculated loss leader. He framed it as a highly exclusive welcome-back gift. This immense, undeniable value forced another 400 people to finally click the link and claim the offer, actively raising their hand and proving to the algorithms that they were still engaged human consumers. Finally, for the massive portion of the list that completely ignores the first 2 steps, you must deploy Step 4. This is the ultimate psychological trigger known as the permanent breakup email. Human beings are biologically wired to intensely fear the loss of something, even if they were not actively using it. The subject line for Robert's final email was incredibly blunt, stating that he was permanently deleting their account tomorrow morning. The body of the email explained that since they were no longer reading his maintenance tips, he did not want to clutter their inbox anymore. He provided one single, highly visible link, explicitly stating that if they wanted to stay on the list, they had to click that link right now. If they did not click, they would be deleted forever. The sheer psychological pressure of finality forced another 200 people to click the link and remain. But the absolute most important part of this entire protocol is what happens next. You must ruthlessly follow through on your promise. For the remaining 12,000 people who completely ignored the breakup email, Robert took a deep breath and permanently deleted them from his entire database. He destroyed 12,000 leads in a single afternoon. To many small business owners, this sounds like absolute financial suicide. But the potential outcomes of this massive purge were historically phenomenal. By completely severing the dead weight, Robert's entire sending domain reputation skyrocketed overnight. The internet service provider saw that his new, smaller list of 7,000 people was highly engaged, clicking links, and reading every word. His open rates instantly jumped to over 35%. His emails were finally bypassing the spam filters and landing directly in the primary inbox of his most profitable, active customers, resulting in a massive surge in actual booked appointments at his garage. You have now learned how to capture leads, build automation, secure your deliverability, and ruthlessly clean your database. Your email marketing engine is completely optimized and running at absolute maximum efficiency. But simply sending emails and watching people click is not enough to sustain a highly profitable business. You must know exactly how to measure the real financial impact of your efforts, which specific mathematical metrics actually matter, and which ones are complete vanity traps designed to distract you. How do you track a single subscriber from the exact moment they enter their email address all the way to a $10,000 purchase 3 months later? That absolute mastery of data analytics and key performance indicators is exactly what we are going to break down and conquer in the next highly critical segment. Let us step out of the dark and turn on the massive digital floodlights. For years, small business owners across the United States have been completely blinded by a highly deceptive concept known in the marketing industry as vanity metrics. If you log into your email service provider dashboard right now, the absolute largest, most prominently displayed number is almost always your campaign open rate. It is mathematically designed to make you feel incredibly successful and to keep you paying your monthly software subscription. But in the highly advanced, privacy-focused digital ecosystem of 2026, relying exclusively on open rates to measure your financial success is mathematically equivalent to driving a commercial vehicle down the highway at 80 miles per hour while staring exclusively into your rearview mirror. Due to massive global privacy updates implemented by major technology companies and mobile device manufacturers over the last 5 years, specifically automated mail privacy protections, software systems now routinely open your emails artificially in the background before the human being ever actually looks at their phone screen. This technological shift means your dashboard might show a massive, record-breaking 60% open rate, leading you to celebrate a wildly successful promotional campaign, when in reality human eyes only saw a tiny fraction of those messages. Open rates measure initial, automated curiosity, but they absolutely do not measure actual human intent, and they certainly do not pay your commercial lease or fund your payroll. To master true, enterprise-level data analytics, we must completely shift your focus away from superficial curiosity and directly toward measurable, undeniable human action. The single most important behavioral metric in your entire email marketing ecosystem is your click-through rate. This is the exact mathematical percentage of people who not only opened your email but were so deeply compelled by your psychological storytelling and your specific offer that they physically tapped their finger on your call-to-action link. A click is a definitive, undeniable declaration of commercial interest. It proves that your message resonated on a profound level. But simply knowing that a random subscriber clicked a link is still not enough data to run a highly profitable, scalable operation. You must be able to scientifically track that specific click all the way through your external website to the exact millisecond their credit card is successfully charged. To thoroughly illustrate the profound financial power of end-to-end data tracking, let us examine the highly documented case study of Olivia, who runs a specialized, bespoke engagement ring and fine jewelry design studio located in Portland, Oregon. Entering the year 2026, Olivia was actively spending over $2,000 every single month on premium email marketing software and professional copywriting services. She would consistently send out beautifully crafted, highly emotional emails showcasing her latest international diamond sourcing trips. Her software dashboard proudly displayed fantastic open rates and reported thousands of individual clicks every single month. Yet, when she sat down to reconcile her actual bank account, her gross revenue was completely stagnant. She was flying completely blind because she had absolutely no idea which specific emails, which specific origin stories, or which specific subject lines were actually generating paying high-ticket clients. She was relying entirely on emotional hope instead of cold, hard mathematics. We completely overhauled Olivia's entire tracking infrastructure by implementing a highly technical, but incredibly accessible system known as Urchin Tracking Modules, universally referred to across the industry as UTM parameters. UTM parameters are essentially invisible digital breadcrumbs that you meticulously attach to the very end of every single link inside your marketing emails. When you build a standard basic link pointing to your business website, you simply use your standard web address. But when you deploy a UTM parameter, you are securely appending highly specific, encoded tags to that address that secretly communicate directly with your Google Analytics dashboard. You configure these specific tags to explicitly state the exact source of the traffic, the specific promotional name of the email campaign, and even the exact geographical location of the button they clicked within the email body. Imagine if a prospective groom joins Olivia email list in early January and reads a highly educational, automated welcome sequence about how to carefully evaluate and ethically source conflict-free diamonds. He clicks a link in email number 3 to read a specific, detailed blog post about diamond clarity. Because Olivia attached a custom UTM parameter to that exact link, her analytics software silently and permanently records that this specific user, originating from this specific automated email, visited her site. The prospect does not buy anything in January. He does not buy anything in February. He is simply educating himself. But in late March, 3 full months later, he finally returns to the site and books a $10,000 private design consultation. Without UTM parameters, Olivia would look at that massive sale and incorrectly assume it came from organic website traffic or a random lucky search engine query. But because the UTM digital breadcrumb trail was permanently established on his very first click 90 days prior, her advanced analytics dashboard correctly attributes that massive $10,000 purchase directly back to the exact educational welcome email he originally consumed. The potential outcomes of this precise level of data mastery are completely business-altering. Olivia stopped guessing entirely. She mathematically proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that her highly educational welcome sequence was directly responsible for over 60% of her highest ticket sales. Conversely, she also discovered through hard data that her weekly promotional discount emails, which she spent agonizing hours designing every single Friday afternoon, were generating massive amounts of clicks but mathematically zero actual revenue. Armed with this undeniable, crystal-clear data, she completely stopped sending the useless discount emails, aggressively doubled down on her educational storytelling, and saw her overall profit margins expand dramatically. She successfully transitioned from being a frantic, overworked creator to a highly surgical, data-driven business operator. Once you have UTM parameters correctly tracking your traffic and attributing your revenue, you unlock the absolute holy grail of email marketing mathematics, which is your earnings per click or EPC. This is a remarkably simple calculation that historically separates struggling, stressed amateurs from highly wealthy, relaxed business owners. You take the total amount of gross revenue generated by a specific email campaign, and you divide it by the exact number of people who clicked the link inside that email. If you send a promotional broadcast that generates exactly $5,000 in total sales, and exactly 1,000 people clicked your link, your earnings per click is exactly $5. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow morning absolutely knowing that every single time a subscriber clicks a link in one of your automated emails, you mathematically earn $5. This profound realization completely removes all emotional hesitation and financial fear from your marketing strategy. If you know your earnings per click is $5, and you know you can acquire a highly targeted, brand new email subscriber through a local digital advertisement for only $2, you possess a literal, highly scalable machine. You are no longer nervously spending money on risky marketing. You are aggressively buying highly profitable digital assets. You simply pour capital into the advertising machine, acquire the new subscriber for $2, run them through your automated, highly tracked email ecosystem, and extract $5 in return. This is the exact, historical framework that massive, viral United States businesses continually use to scale their operations globally, while their local competitors remain completely paralyzed by the fear of spending $50 on a standard social media advertisement. You have now meticulously mastered the psychology of the inbox, the complex technical infrastructure of global deliverability, the behavioral automation of your sales process, and the advanced mathematical tracking required to prove your exact return on investment. You have built an impenetrable, highly lucrative digital fortress that you completely own and control. But there is one final, incredibly dangerous hurdle left to conquer. What happens when your email list grows so massively large and financially successful that you suddenly become a major target for malicious cyber attacks, aggressive competitor data scraping, and devastating federal compliance audits? In the current, highly restrictive regulatory environment of 2026, one single legal misstep regarding consumer data protection can result in massive, business-destroying fines that instantly wipe out years of hard-earned profit. How do you legally protect this incredible financial asset you have just built? And what is the absolute ultimate, foolproof framework for scaling your list to 100,000 subscribers without breaking federal law? That massive, highly intensive legal and scaling blueprint is exactly what we are going to completely demystify and execute in our final, most important chapter. The Federal Trade Commission does not care if you are a massive multinational conglomerate or a small family-owned bakery operating out of a local storefront. When you begin sending commercial email messages to consumers within the United States, you are immediately governed by the CAN-SPAM Act, a highly strict federal law that dictates exactly how you must handle consumer communication. Violating this federal law is not a minor slap on the wrist. In the current year of 2026, the potential financial penalty for a single email violation can exceed $50,000. If you send an entirely non-compliant broadcast to a list of just 1,000 people, the mathematical exposure to your business is completely catastrophic. To build a legally bulletproof digital asset, you must strictly adhere to 3 non-negotiable foundational rules on every single email you ever send. First, you must completely eradicate any deceptive subject lines. If your subject line implies the email contains an urgent invoice regarding a recent purchase, but the internal body of the email is actually just a promotional advertisement for a new product line, you are actively violating federal law by deceiving the consumer. Second, every single commercial email must contain a valid, physical postal address located at the very bottom of the message. This can be your actual retail storefront, a registered corporate office, or a commercially registered post office box. This legally tethers your digital communications to a verified real-world entity. Third, and most importantly, you must provide a crystal clear, highly conspicuous, and completely frictionless method for the subscriber to opt out of your communications, and you are legally required to honor that exact opt-out request within 10 business days. But the CAN-SPAM Act is only the absolute baseline of federal compliance. As we navigate the complex legal landscape of 2026, individual states have deployed incredibly aggressive, sweeping consumer data privacy frameworks. The most prominent of these is the California Consumer Privacy Act, closely followed by highly similar legislation enacted in Virginia, Colorado, Utah, and Connecticut. A massive, dangerous misconception among small business owners is the belief that because their physical business is located in Texas or Florida, they are completely exempt from California state law. This is a terrifying and entirely false assumption. If your website captures the email address and personal data of a single consumer who resides within the state of California, your business is legally bound by the strict parameters of their state legislation. These modern privacy laws grant consumers the absolute right to demand a complete, transparent record of exactly what personal data you have collected about them, the right to know exactly who you are sharing that data with, and the ultimate right to demand the permanent, immediate deletion of their entire digital footprint from your database. To fully grasp the severe operational impact of ignoring these regulations, let us examine the case study of Thomas, who operates a highly successful, rapidly expanding online sporting goods and outdoor apparel brand based right in Phoenix, Arizona. By early 2026, Thomas had aggressively scaled his email marketing list to over 80,000 highly active subscribers. He was generating massive monthly revenue. However, his entire back-end data infrastructure was completely disorganized. When a consumer from California emailed his support team explicitly demanding a full report of their collected data and requesting permanent deletion under state privacy laws, Thomas' support staff completely ignored the email, treating it like standard spam. 90 days later, Thomas received a formal, devastating notice of an official state regulatory audit. Because he lacked the proper technical protocols to instantly locate, compile, and delete consumer data upon legal request, his business was hit with severe, crippling financial penalties that completely wiped out his entire profit margin for the fiscal year. The permanent solution that Thomas eventually implemented, and the exact system you must build right now before you scale, is the implementation of a dedicated subscriber preference center coupled with automated data compliance workflows. A preference center is a secure, highly personalized digital dashboard where your subscribers can log in at any time to instantly update their own contact information, manually choose exactly which specific types of emails they wish to receive, and most importantly, execute a completely automated data deletion request without ever needing to contact your customer support team. By transferring the direct control of the personal data back into the hands of the consumer, you completely insulate your small business from devastating compliance audits and massive state fines. Once your legal and compliance foundation is constructed like a titanium vault, your business will inevitably attract a brand new, highly sophisticated type of digital threat. As your small business gains online visibility and your email list becomes recognized as a highly valuable financial asset, you become a prime target for malicious cyber attacks known within the industry as list bombing. Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning, logging into your email marketing dashboard, and seeing that you successfully acquired 50,000 brand new email subscribers overnight. Your initial reaction might be massive excitement. But that excitement quickly turns to pure horror when you realize that every single one of those email addresses is completely fake, or worse, they are scraped, highly sensitive government and corporate email addresses deployed by a malicious bot network. Competitors and overseas hackers utilize these automated bot networks to intentionally flood your unprotected website opt-in forms. When your automated system attempts to send your standard welcome sequence to those 50,000 fake or restricted addresses, your email service provider instantly registers a massive, unprecedented bounce rate. Major inbox providers like Google and Yahoo immediately classify your domain as the source of a massive spam attack, and your entire business is permanently blacklisted across the global internet before you even finish your morning coffee. The absolute only way to protect your digital real estate from this highly coordinated sabotage is the immediate, mandatory implementation of invisible reCAPTCHA technology and strict double opt-in protocols. Invisible reCAPTCHA is an advanced background security script that mathematically analyzes the mouse movements and typing patterns of the user filling out your website form, instantly blocking automated bots from submitting data, while remaining completely invisible to real, human customers. The double opt-in protocol acts as your final impenetrable layer of defense. When a consumer submits their email address, they are not immediately added to your active marketing database. Instead, they are placed in a holding area, and your system sends them one single, highly secure confirmation email containing a unique link. They must physically open that email and click that specific link to legally verify that they are a real human being who actually owns that exact inbox. Only after that physical human verification occurs are they moved to your active database. This strategy slightly reduces your total daily subscriber growth speed, but it completely guarantees that every single person on your list is a verified human, entirely neutralizing the threat of automated list bombing. With your legal compliance fully automated and your database completely secured against cyber threats, you are finally ready to execute the ultimate scaling blueprint to push your list past the 100,000 subscriber milestone. You cannot rely strictly on slow, organic website traffic to reach this massive tier. You must transition into highly calculated, data-driven paid acquisition using the mathematical concept of the self-liquidating offer. Historical trends show that acquiring a highly targeted email lead through social media advertising in the United States currently costs an average of $3 to $5. If you pay $5 for a lead and immediately offer them nothing but a free newsletter, you are entirely out of pocket and bleeding cash. But if you engineer your highly optimized, automated welcome sequence to immediately present a hyper-relevant, irresistible low-ticket product priced at exactly $7, and your data proves that 20% of new subscribers purchased that product on day one, the mathematics completely shift. The immediate revenue generated by those new buyers completely covers the total advertising cost of acquiring the entire group. You are now scientifically acquiring thousands of highly targeted, premium email subscribers completely for free, allowing you to infinitely scale your daily advertising budget without touching your core operational capital. Furthermore, you exponentially compound this growth by deploying a gamified subscriber referral loop. You integrate a sophisticated tracking tool directly into the bottom footer of every single email you send, providing each subscriber with their own unique, encoded referral link. You logically incentivize them to share your business with their own personal network by offering tiered, highly desirable milestones. If they refer 3 verified friends, they automatically receive an exclusive, unlisted educational video. If they refer 10 friends, they receive a massive 30% discount on your premium service. You are effectively transforming your current loyal audience into a massive, highly motivated, unpaid sales force that aggressively recruits entirely new customers on your behalf around the clock. You have now mastered every single critical component of email marketing for a United States small business. You understand the deep psychology of lead magnets, the technical architecture of deliverability, the massive financial power of behavioral automation, and the strict legal frameworks required to securely scale your operations to the absolute pinnacle of your industry. You possess a completely owned, algorithm-proof machine that prints predictable revenue on demand. But building this massive, highly profitable digital asset presents an entirely new life-changing opportunity that most business owners never even consider. When you possess a fully engaged, legally compliant email list of 100,000 proven buyers, your local business is no longer just a business. It is a highly attractive, multi-million-dollar acquisition target for massive private equity firms. So how do you accurately calculate the exact monetary valuation of your digital database? And what is the precise step-by-step legal framework required to completely package and sell your entire company for an 8-figure exit? That high-stakes, incredibly lucrative acquisition formula is exactly what we are going to break down in our next masterclass.